The rain finally returned, steady, soaking, and long overdue, although this is the second major rain event this year. And very importantly, lots of good flooding. For years, we've worked through drought and dust, carving earthworks with nothing but heavy equipment and a whole lot of persistence. It's an absolute joy to see this land soaking in water. And the systems do exactly what they're designed to do. This land, the design, and the people here that just don't quit. Come share with us in our daytime victory and watch all this beautiful water flow across the desert. The rain stopped, of course, but those look like they could turn into wall clouds, so I'm going to set up a time lapse and keep an eye on this. It's the second heavy batch of rainfall, and I happened to see it coming. Let's camp out and see if we can't catch some flow. This time I want to focus on this west-facing slope. I don't know what a young desert olive looks like, but that looks like olive leaves to me, like desert olive leaves. And that looks like an acacia. So even though I didn't mulch this exactly correctly, this bathtub looks like it's paying off. I'll come back and ID this when it's not raining and I'm not using both hands. One's holding the umbrella, the other the camera. And right now we're on the hunt for flow. Here comes the flow. I am exactly on the property line, so I can't check dam that. So look at that. Check dams are working. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, you can see the silt running off the road into the spillway, and then the spillway is funneling everything right into this. This is the northern dam. This is where the insects emerged in last week's episode. So I think we've seen how this is going. We'll come back and monitor it. Let's go check the terraces and see if we're catching any flow off these slopes. This doesn't look like it was working exactly the way I wanted. I gotta cut a better water bar on this part of the road, but at least this section of the water bar is working. Let's see if we got any flow. All right, this is exactly what the terrace is supposed to do. So in this case, having it uncovered is good because you can see it's exactly what I want. All the water is on the inner bank, which you see on the right side of the screen. That's where the tree line's going. And then where I'm walking is all of this empty space. So this is 100% the design. The laser level doing its job. I'm not giving up any runoff from up here to anything below it unless it becomes absolutely essential. But this is one part where I'm really not going to be happy because I think I'm going to be giving up water. So this is supposed to be banked right here. Brandon cut it down for access, and we're going to have to rebuild this bump, even though it's very unpleasant to drive on. We need to be able to send water from here around to that terrace over there too. But super, 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 super excited to see everything working as designed. And then because the water's pooling on this upper terrace, I shouldn't see hardly anything down here because everywhere that I've planted trees, that's exactly where the water should be pooling under all of this mulch. It just doesn't make for good visuals, which I'm okay with in this instance. And we don't need to go walk the lower terrace, but I am going to take a shortcut and get a view from above. No runoff. But I do see water pooled on SW3, so let's head down there and see if that's just on the spillway. Hopefully we don't see water actually flowing. I don't see any from up here. Well, we are losing some, which, I mean, that is the design. It is a spillway. South Dam's looking better, although I need to make that fix while it's still wet. Let's make sure the fence is actually on. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's go fix that That's just getting worse, but you see this water bar is doing its job, pushing the initial water back behind the dam, and then there's this hump here, and it's pushing this water towards the BDAs. We're gonna go look at that in a second. Let's fix this right here. We can't have this. There we go. All right, that'll stop eroding the dam. That's quite a bit more water than what Brandon filmed for me in the last episode. So I do want to see how far back this goes, and then we'll go look at the BDAs. Look at this, guys. This whole way back. Whole thing is flooded. These check dams look awesome. Okay. Those BDAs are going to be running out of water here pretty quick, so that was close. I think that's going to be a really good spot to put some trees. That's where all the manure is. Well, not all of it, but we put around 8 yards of manure in this area right here. You can see the road just is the big catchment, and it's going to make it easy to get this area fully hydrated. What I'm curious is, it's not letting go of any of the water. So we had some runoff over there from the water bar, and I assume this spilled, but a little bit of water behind the BDAs. It's holding up really well. This is the pit, and as that water just starts to trickle, I'm hoping that over time this just starts to fill in with better and better material. That silt and clay just slowly fill it up. You can see our check dams doing the work, slowing the water until it gets to the BDA. Look at this, just all this water, and this is a clay pocket right behind there. So that lower level of the clay is just going to be fully hydrated as that water soaks, which is just amazing. What's crazy is this is with two pretty large oversized dams blocking everything. And here you can see the BDA really holding the water back. You got everything pooled. This is a big channel. Let's see how far down this goes. Just very slowly releasing water, which is just fine, but if I can plug it, I may as well. Let's do that. Slow it down. I don't need the umbrella anymore. Let's go. See how far down we've got water hanging out in the channel. Check dams doing their job. Nice slow water. Look at that. That's beautiful. Exactly what it's supposed to do. Come up here, and right below the junction, should have a BDA catching two events. One from this creek on the right, and then the other on the other side of that lip. They merge right here. Right here is the junction. And then you can see BDA really holding things up well. Nice big puddle. Just slowly releasing some of the water. And that's where we're done with BDAs, a lot of the BDAs and check dams. And I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but the flow is quite a bit faster now. Still not raging, but it'd be better if it was slower. We still have a lot of work to do, don't we? But, oh yeah, look at that one. That's beautiful. And see how high that water level is. I wish those were spaced closer together, but I don't pick the spacing on that one. This is awesome because this is my first time in 2 years getting to see a rain event like this where I see flowing water on my ranch. And it makes me happy. I'm seriously wondering if my swale near camp caught anything. There's camp, way up there. This is one of the candidates for building a good-sized pond, mainly because I'd be able to build it with the dozer. So you see how the hillside just dives right into this point where these two channels come together. So this is one of the better opportunities to collect a huge amount of water. This is the merger right here. You see, you got to witness that rain event. This one on the left comes from camp. This one on the right is ultimately coming from the watershed where I've built the dams and the terraces, the big dams and the terraces. And then this hillside where those two yuccas in the middle are, they look like kind of palm trees. That would be the spot to build a really large dam and hold a lot of water. So this is the North Dam, and the rain ended about an hour and a half ago, which gives you some idea of how quickly the water is infiltrating. You can see the high water mark, and now it's just sinking. That's awesome. And the water level, this is the question I was wondering, is how far back does this typically go? And so the high level is just below that T-post to the right. And you can see the water is backed up past this check dam all the way to here. And the water at some point has been all the way up to here, which is just fantastic. This area is going to go crazy. That is no damage at all. This is so weird. This is a flowing stream 2 hours ago. Oh, look. I never did walk over here during the flow. Looks like these all filled up, which is what I was worried about. Silty. Look at all that clay and silt that we caught. Some definitely got more water than others. So you can see these are all just wet. Still standing water in these. And so it must be catching off the top of the rain bowl, or this bowl that this is the top of the watershed. And for the water flowing from there over this way, it must be catching a significant portion of it before it actually enters the stream, because the rest of these are a lot drier. So this one looks like it had a good cascade. You can see where it's entering, that this one caught the flow here and then passed it down here. That overflowed. All right, let's go look at the South Dam and how much water it's holding. The South Dam just doesn't get nearly the same quantity of water, so it looks like it's almost absorbed all of the water already. It is nice to see that the pockets behind the check dams are holding the water. Those acacia and the sneezeweed growing right there ought to just, it's already exploding. It'll just go even crazier